Well, it was beautiful conditions here today for Nebraska's first spring practice on Saturday, and a lot to talk about as Nebraska breaking in a new defensive coordinator in Bob Diaco, then the storyline of the quarterbacks, guys like Tanner Lee and Patrick O'Brien, and head coach Mike Riley. All in all, I think that was maybe what stood out to him the most here on day number one, was just how polished and how far ahead quarterbacks like Lee and O'Brien were.
The work we did with Patrick and Tanner on every Sunday during the season, which was pretty extensive. They probably got an average of 20 to 25 plays in a scrimmage, individual period, one-on-one. Some work that we got with them every Sunday. I wanted to see how it played out to today, what that meant to them the first day of spring practice. Would they come into spring practice with that work every Sunday as their game day during the year? Would that pay off as far as their comfort today, opening day of spring ball? I think what we saw was pretty comfortable guys. They made some plays. They made mostly right reads. They were fairly efficient in how it all looked. So, I think that it worked.
They just have to understand that they're going to need to step up into a position where they are going to be the leader of this team. They're going to be the guy that we're looking to. So for them, I think they're going to have something that they're going to have to do this spring when it comes to leadership, which I'm happy. I see that they're definitely working in the offseason. I saw them both stepping up, talking more. So I'm happy for that. For the line, it's us up front. So, the guy that's back there, we believe in whoever it is. We're going to work our butts off for whoever it is, so nothing's going to change for us.
And even true freshman Tristan Gebbia was impressive here on day number one. Everybody agrees that Gebbia is a guy that needs to get bigger, needs to get stronger, but he's got all those intangible things that you can't coach in a quarterback, and that's immediately jumped out to Riley.
He's got a great release. He's a football junkie. None of this stuff surprises him. He loves it. He loves to talk about cover two. This is what it looks like, all that stuff. It is very good.
As for Diaco, it was a noticeable level of intensity he brought to the football field, really from the get-go when he had the players running around to their position drills here to start practice. And that intensity, that passion, I think it's going to be something that really shapes this defense here over the spring.
I think the enthusiasm for what we do as teachers is contagious for the kids. If you have enthusiasm for what you're doing, you have a chance to get a response of enthusiasm. I think that with that has to come a good progression of teaching. And I think that he combines both. And yes, that I think gives us a good chance to catch up with what we have to do to be good at it when we start playing in the fall.
He's a high-energy guy, which for any player is fun to play for. And he's detailed. He's been around the block, so he knows his stuff, and he's going to be a fun guy to play for.
And senior linebacker Chris Weber is going to have to be one of those guys that takes on one of those bigger roles in this defense with Bob Diaco.
It's just learning a new system, new terminology. I've done it twice now. It's my third new defense, so you kind of take some of that from what you learned earlier and you can apply it to this defense. But a lot of new terminology, new concepts, so you just got to learn that.
Another goal for Nebraska's offense this spring is just establishing some identity run plays, and Riley said they really started that off here today.
Well, I would say that our two top runs from a year ago basically involved what would be an inside zone or kind of a play off of the inside zone, which is a divide play with the tight end. How he looks like he's trapping, but it's a zone play. That would have been somewhat of a signature play. And then for us, a year ago with Tommy, it was the quarterback keeping the ball off of that zone play.
In injury news here on Saturday, freshman wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson Jr. did not practice as he continues to recover from a medical issue he battled here really through the offseason. Riley remains optimistic when the team comes back after spring break on March 28th that Johnson could be back with the Huskers. Nebraska also did host a junior day here on campus. Several guys were here, including commit Masri Mapu with the Huskers here in Lincoln. I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.